Welcome to Radical Improvements. This is a video as part of my series of how to make friends in the modern age. And this week I've got a guest because we're going to talk about something that I personally have not done a lot of, and we'll get into that right now. Andy, you want to introduce yourself?
I am Andy. I run my own channel, Andy Wells, and I'm Cam's best friend for life.
Yes, we are BFFs forever. Basically, there is an area of making friends that I don't have a lot of experience in, and that is making friends through apps. These being Bumble BFF is probably the most well-known one now, but you can also throw into Meetup can be thrown into
Hmm.
this as well. Generally, like social apps. There's a few. There's another one which is like you can go and join restaurant tables or something that I've forgotten the name
Hmm.
of. But there's a few. There's a few where like they're trying to get more people together for social events. I You could argue that the running club apps have turned into
Hmm.
this as well. Like a lot
Like
of these things
Strava
have
and
turned into
stuff.
what, yeah, a lot of these things have just turned into socializing apps and meet people and stuff. So if we're talking just generally an app that is a chat, you get onto the internet and you meet people and you talk to them and you arrange to meet up and be friends. That is the process I want to look into. And yeah, you're the best guy I know for doing this. You do this pretty much. It's like the only way you make friends, it seems, in terms of like in your city and there's like new people. So
Yeah.
how would if someone was asking you like, yo, how do I make friends via Bumble BFF, via the friendship side of things, or Meetup? You can do both because I know you've got a lot of experience with both.
Yeah, I would say if a guy moves to a new city and he's or a new town and he's like, I have literally zero friends, I would jump on Bumble immediately. And if you look in Bumble, there's a section called Bumble BFF. So it's separate from the dating thing. You throw up some pictures, you put a little bio, exactly the same as dating, and then you just match with people. And most of the guys will match with you because they're not really caring so much about your appearance. It's not really like that. It's just everyone will match with you. And I like to send a template to everyone and say, hey, Andy, or hey, I'm Andy. I'm going to skip the usual BS. I'm looking for friends that are wanting to meet up and make each other's lives better. We'll hang out. We can talk about business. We can talk about dating. We can talk about self improvement. Maybe we go to the gym together. We play some video games, whatever we want. I'm looking to build, a friendship circle, basically. Let me know if that's what you're down for. And just copy pasting that template, I spam everyone I can. And like, dude, you'll match with like 10 people and a bunch of them will say, let's grab a beer, let's grab a coffee, let's play video games, let's go for a walk. Like it's so unbelievably easy to make friends through that. And that's my go-to. You can also just jump on Meetup and go to events and meet people there. And then you're just hanging out, you're doing something, maybe a coffee, maybe you go to a bar, maybe you guys watch a movie, maybe you play sports. Like social sports is a pretty easy thing to get into. And then you just say like, hey, you seem cool. Like let's swap Instagrams, let's be bros or let's be friends. Like this stuff isn't complicated, but I think people think making friends is something that you have to be like good at. Like you have to be some social charismatic person. It's like, no, just say to a bunch of people, do you want to be my friend? And the apps make it like 10,000 times easier because everyone is on there
Yeah.
for the same reason as you.
What's your experience sending the template in terms of like how many responses do you normally get a lot of people just being like, oh, I'm not looking for what he's looking for, so they just don't respond. Are you screening that off the first few messages? So like if they send you a response, you're like, it's not really, you're not really
Yes.
quite what I'm looking for. You have that stage as well.
Yeah. So I would say like 90% of people reply, 95% of guys reply to my very first message. And yeah, sometimes like I will ask them, what are your hobbies? Like, what are you into? What are your goals? Like stuff like that. And if I get a response that maybe isn't what I'm looking for, like sometimes they'll just be like, oh, whatever. Like I don't have any hobbies or I don't have goals. Then sure, I'll unmatch that person. But most people give a pretty good answer because most guys are on there. Like with dating apps, if you're meeting people for dating, a lot of people are on there to just sort of mess around and get some validation and some attention, and they're not really that serious about meeting up. But I found if you're on like Bumble BFF to make friends, like 90% of people are on there to meet an actual human being in person and become friends, hopefully. Like everyone's pretty freaking serious. And so even if you don't align with hobbies and that, great, unmatch, move on. But the vast majority of people that I match with, yeah, they're down to grab a coffee like within the next 2 days or so. And they don't like waste your time and be like, oh, I'll have to see what my schedule is. It's like they're on there because they're feeling lonely as fuck and they're like, I need some bros to hang out with. Like, I need some fucking friends. And then they'll jump straight into that.
Cool. I like the intent. Like those, the best thing about
Yeah.
apps, like with dating apps as well, it's like there's more intent.
Yeah.
and not as many people like fucking around. Also, you get to screen, like you get to screen a little bit, whereas if you're meeting people out, like my preference is meeting people not naturally, organically. Like I love doing that. It's
Mhm.
like my thing. But like, yeah, it is. You are like having to like use social intelligence to like gauge people a little bit rather than like you can just straight up ask them questions on the app. They're like before you even meet them is like a screening
Mhm.
process for friends, which is really cool. I think they're something like a CV. Like you're asking them to send you like a friendship CV of just like
Like
this are the
kind
things
of.
I'm into. Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
you're
And
like
they have like tags. They have like what they're into. Like they have a profile. And so they're like, I'm into hiking, I'm into rock climbing, I'm into this, I'm into the gym. Like you can literally see what they are, like what they're into before you meet them. See if you vibe. They can put if they have a family or something. I'd be down to be friends with someone with a family, but I'm probably not going to vibe with them as much. And so you can even see that
yeah.
shit. Like this guy's single or this guy's not, or yeah.
Can you contrast this with your experience with Meetup in the past? Because Meetup is much more like you do have to go to a social gathering and just kind of make
Yes.
friends like the more traditional way. But the thing with Meetup is you can screen towards like a group of people meeting for a particular purpose. I think was what you told me. Like there's as long as you pick the right one.
Yeah. So the groups that so yeah, Meetup is like groups. Bumble BFF is like you're just going to meet one person and have a coffee or a beer or play video games or whatever. So Meetup is like, there might be an event of like, let's meet up and talk about self improvement. Or I joined a book club years ago and made really good friends with like 10 people from that. One of whom is still like probably one of my best mates for the last like 10 years. Like we're still really good bros. And so there's book clubs, there's like self improvement groups, there's like hiking groups. You have activities like let's meet through for tennis. I made a bunch of friends for tennis in my old city as well, just through Meetup. And so you go there. I like to think of that more as just I'm going to go there and absorb the atmosphere. I'm not necessarily there to like headhunt for a best friend or something. I'm going to go join a group, see if I can find a bunch of people that I click with and vibe with. And if you just go to a meetup a couple of times, like a couple of weeks in a row, like if you go to a tennis meetup and you go play tennis every single week, like the second or third week that you show up, people are going to be like, oh, there's that Andy guy. I've seen him a few times. And they will almost like make moves on you. They will almost be like, hey, do you want to be friends? Hey, we're all going to grab dinner after this. Do you want to come hang out? And you're like, hell yeah, yes, please. And so I find that easier if you're maybe not as confident. Some people will get a little intimidated by like it being a group of people, but I've always found that easier because it's like I just go to a couple of these meetups in a row, like a couple of weeks in a row, and other people will come up to me and say, do you want to be friends? Or we're going to do this other thing. Or can I grab your Instagram? Or like, bro, let's swap Facebooks or something. Like, not that anyone uses Facebook much anymore, but that's easier in a way, but it's just different.
Yeah. I think maybe some guys have trouble with they can go to meetups, they can like meet people off Bumble BFF, but the trouble they have is getting it from like that step down the line to actually forming a friendship.
Mm.
And like you'll probably say the same thing as me, which is just like consistently hanging
Yeah.
out with someone over time.
Yeah.
It's like all you need to do.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
sometimes you need to, just as you're the guy who sends a message, because you send messages, you open people on Bumble. And I think some guys are like they're not making the assertive moves socially, where they would actually meet people and like going to say hello, sending the first message, being the guy that invites people as well. Like you offer a lot of value if you're the guy that invites the other person, because
Yes.
you're actually trying to like give options of stuff to do, etc. like that. So yeah, like, and a lot of people, more people will say yes to you than you think. That's the other thing I'll
Yes.
say as well. Like you're just gonna get way more. It's not like dating. Like maybe you guys have been like scarred by their dating experiences or whatever, but it's like very much more like throwing out invitations socially. Your acceptance rate of those invitations can be like sky high. Now people
Yeah,
might
it's like
flake and not show
90%.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
might flake or like cancel, but like that's not the point. Like,
Yeah.
it's about you're probably better friends with that guy from the book club because you guys consistently hung out for like years. Do you know what I mean? That's why like you kept
Yes.
on being
Yes.
reliable to each other. So like just be reliable for people was probably
Yeah.
my biggest advice. You agree with that, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't think you have to be brilliant with socializing. It's okay if you're awkward as fuck. Like literally just hang out with someone, I don't know, 3 times and then suddenly you're friends. Talk about whatever. It doesn't even matter. Like play fucking video games with each other 3 times. Like go sit in a bar and have a beer with each other 3 times. Go sit on the beach or in a park or something 3 times. Like just hang out 3 times and you will start to just open up. Both of you will. You'll talk about what you're into, your hobbies, dreams, hopes, whatever bullshit, and like you will just become friends.
Yeah, I'm lucky if I see my childhood friends like more than 3 times a year. So 3 times is quite a lot in terms of like, you know what I mean, in terms of like building stuff. Like, yeah, it's good. Like, I when I was in Vancouver, like I like to build like groups. So like it was more like trying to set like a more like a regular thing to do as a group. For example, was quite a good one. Just setting up something that's quite regular with someone. So you
Yeah.
make these connections like via Meetup or via Bumble BFF, and then I would just advise people to just like, okay, try and do something that is recurring, like something that you and them can go and do. Like you go for burgers with your friends. I know you're quite big on that. Like you would go,
Yep. Yep.
or like you'll go hiking. Like there are things you can do that like we can just do this on repeat. Like you know, if once a month if you want to, or like so my example was UFC. We used to watch every single UFC event, like with like 6 or 7 guys and a few girls. And so it was like that was our repeat recurring event. And so I was friends with everyone because we did that like 20 times. So like that's all you need to do. Come up with something that's like a little bit more of a reason. And you can just invent it. Like, hey, we're going, hey, like Saturday is now hiking day. Are
Yeah.
you
Or
up?
pizza
Cool, we're
night,
down.
Taco
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you just keep on saying like it's Saturday, I want to hike, and you just do that every Saturday. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it might not go, but if you do that every day for 2 months, you'll probably go hiking like at least 4 times. Like
Yep.
so, you know what I mean? So that works.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And hiking is a pretty good one. Like if you want some nice, safe ways to meet friends and you're doing an activity, so the pressure isn't on you to be super social. I'd say hiking is probably like number one. And then sports are up there too, like playing sports, playing social sports. Like soccer is a good one. Tennis is a really good one. Just like
Climbing
a
is another good one
reason.
as well.
Climbing, oh
Climbing
my
is another good
frick.
one. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Just like an excuse for you to meet up. You're doing an activity, so the pressure isn't, it's not like you're all sitting there looking at each other expecting to be social. Like just having, especially for guys, having an excuse for why you're meeting, it takes a lot of the pressure off. That's why I always like Meetup for that, because literally you're meeting up to do an activity. But even if you're going to meet people on Bumble BFF or something, just have a reason why you're meeting up. Like say like, hey bro, do you want to grab a coffee? We can go for a walk, you know, down this road or down this path. Like, hey, do you want to go hang out and play video games? That's a pretty safe one too.
Yep. Agreed. Thank you so much for coming into to chat about this, Andy. I'm trying to give the guys the best advice I possibly can for the friendship series. So it's good, especially because it's just not an area I've done like any
Yeah.
work in towards. I really like your template. I put it on the screen, but like I'll put it in the description maybe as well. Just like the template for like what to send to people. You can just copy paste this template, just like or go to Andy's website and get it from there. Just copy paste this template and send it. Like even if you feel a bit weird about it, it's pretty easy to just Control C, Control V, isn't it? So or on your, on a phone.
Yeah, you're
So
just
like yeah,
spamming that template. Yeah,
yeah,
it's easy. You
and
don't have to
then you
think
see,
about
and
it.
then you can just gauge the responses and then just move forward if you want to move forward. It's easy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of social stuff is you giving yourself permission to do the steps necessary to make friends. So like, and overcoming some of your anxiety. Like it's easy for Andy and I to sit here and explain the steps, but like we've conquered our social anxiety, or at least the majority of it, or like we can live with it now. Like if I feel
Yeah.
socially anxious, I know it's not the end of the fucking world anymore. That's like how I feel about my anxiety. Is like, oh, it's there, but it's like not the end of the world. It's just kind of like a thing that you feel. So like, yeah, hopefully with more repetitions of this stuff, if we give you the easy steps to follow, you can head towards any anxiety you might feel a bit easier because you know what you need to do. All right, guys, peace out till next time.